I'm 10, your host, obviously.
Hello and welcome back to my channel, Internet. Today we're going to look at yet more Star Wars toy vehicles. This time we're going to go to the prequel trilogy. Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. Today's episode is going to feature 3 vehicles. You can see the first one right here. The Jedi Starfighter had a few variants to them, but they were relatively lightly armed, incredibly fast, and all produced by the Kuwait system, Kuwait Drives, or Kuwait Yards. I know that they're the same people that did the Star Destroyers. The triangular shape is actually kind of reminiscent. So, without further ado, let's get into the toys. In this movie, the ships are actually very maneuverable, very lightweight, and actually had a hyperdrive ring because they don't have any hyperdrive systems built in. They also had a droid integrated into the ship itself. The toy is relatively the same. It looks pretty much just like the movie. Remarkable detail. You even see like some blaster marks and some chipped paint and all that in the color scheme. It's also very common to find these ships on the secondhand market, like eBay and in thrift shops, but you'll usually find them without their blast panels or their cockpit canopy, and almost always without their missiles, and I'll show you that in a second. The toy is relatively simple. You can see the engines, the landing gear, which actually is really cool because it kind of slides in and out and pops in. The dual gun system, which is right here, and the integrated droid. Cockpit canopy opens pretty easily. It pops open, and you can put your pilot in there. It's my modified Luke in clone wear gear. The headrest pops down and up, and it's a pretty detailed interior. You can see the seat. My stickers are coming off. Those are one of the problems that does happen. The stickers fall off. It's pretty interesting. When I got this particular model, I just literally had the core, the fuselage. I had to buy the canopy as second hand, which is why it's also a different color. This is actually from a different starship, not the one for Obi-Wan. And again, I'm about functionality rather than looks. I still say it works. The blast panels, though, which I'll show you how they work in a second, are from the Obi-Wan, but they're a little bit newer. You can see the color is a little bit different. So, if you had noticed when I flipped this over, and that's one of my issues with this ship, it pops open all the time. There we go. There's a button right here. So, the toy would have been really, really boring had it been just this. Hasbro wanted more playability with the ship, so they included a really cool feature. You press the button. Not only do you have blast panels that open here, the S-foils, but the entire blast panel parts pop off, revealing a really cool looking ship. It reveals more weapons, which the actual Aether Sprite, this is a Delta 7 Aether Sprite by the way, doesn't have in the actual movie. It also has 2 missile launchers, which I am missing the missiles of. That's another common thing that you're going to not see all the time. And they are launched with these buttons back here. So overall, the ship is cool. I actually do like the little added weapon power that they show in the toys. If they had these in the actual movie, I think they would have needed to upgrade. But overall though, it's a cool little collectible, easily found, and the parts to actually finish them off aren't that hard. The one issue I do have is the tail fin here. It tends to break easily, so make sure you either glue it back on or get one with it. Overall though, I would say 8.5 out of playability. I wish I could have the missiles. The next ship I have in the system is more commonly found in, again, online. This was actually the Delta 7B variant of the Aether Sprite. More commonly found in the Clone Wars TV series. This one has a little bit more playability to it, rather than just the core ship popping off cool features. As you can see, it's got, if I can get it open, a canopy that opens, revealing a very well detailed, including a flight stick, nicely detailed and pretty accurate cockpit where you can fit your Obi-Wan in there. It also has a different droid spot. This one, it's integrated. This one, you can actually pull the droid out. This is R4P17. That is actually Obi-Wan's droid. And it's actually got a very nicely detailed interior here that, if you did want to, you could actually fit another character in there. It'll be kind of funny though, having the droid in the cockpit while the pilot is, well, pretty much exposed to the atmosphere, or the lack thereof the atmosphere. But that's not the only form of playability on this ship. As you can see, let me just pop that in there. That's the one thing I do have, is that you got to make sure it's in there just right or it doesn't close. It doesn't have any blast panels that come off, but it does come with two missile launchers. That's another part that's usually missing. That, the droid canopy, and the actual canopy. You can find those. They're kind of harder to find, but you can find them, and again, I have functionality. I actually have 7 of these versus 1 of these. And 2 of mine actually have different canopy for the droids here, rather than the one that goes to the ship. It's just a different color. Again, functionality. This does have a cool feature though, and by the way, it does have the same issue with the fin in the back. The ship is actually 2 ships in one. You can actually pull this one out, and not only do you have the main cockpit here, as you can see, it's still got the 2 missiles and all that, which actually is a pretty cool shape, and you can kind of see where the TIE Fighter gets its imagery from. But you have the droid skiff, which comes with its own missile launcher hidden that actually doubles as its landing gear, by the way. Because without it, it goes down. The only issue I do have is that the missile required for these are slightly smaller than the missile required for this. This is actually a bit of a thicker missile, so you have to get those separately if you're missing them, and track down the ones that actually go. But overall though, it's actually a pretty good ship. The functionality is pretty cool, And if you are really experimental, you can mix and match different ship components to make your own Aether Sprite. You can also mix and match this one with the panels and all that, just for some really cool looking ones. But overall, I give this one a 9 out of 10. It's quite playable. It's got more functionality than this one, and you get 2 ships for the price of 1. And in my opinion, I just like the placement of the droid better, and I like droids a lot better, so the placement. But I do have to point out one thing. This cockpit canopy doesn't fit the Build-A-Droid ones. These are a little too thick to go in there. So you're going to have to use original run droids or a little bit smaller ones that will actually fit in this. The original R2-D2 does fit in this, but he like sticks out like that. So it's up to you which droid you want to use. Now, the last ship I have is one that people will probably be familiar with also. This is from Return of the Jedi. Not Return of the Jedi, I'm sorry. Revenge of the Sith. Too many R's. This is the Ada 3, I believe? Ada 2 Actus Class Interceptor, also by Kuwait. This is the one that you see Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan in the beginning, where they're flying. It's actually a really nice ship, really nice toy. The only issue I have is how loose the landing gear are. They don't stay upright. I have to figure out how to make them a little bit tighter so that when it's landed, they don't just pop in and push down. Other than that, though, it's a really nicely designed ship. The toy itself is pretty classy. It's a bit weightier than the other two. And it's got some really cool features. It's got missile launchers, because why not? And they're fired from the back here. It's got 2 of them, obviously. Again, fired from the back. It shows more weaponry. And the canopy actually opens like a normal canopy, instead of from the forward flipping, revealing yet another well-detailed canopy, a cockpit, sorry. It's got no hidden features, nothing else moves, but it's really nicely detailed. One thing you will note is the canopy here is usually missing if you buy them on the secondhand market. I actually had to hunt down the actual canopy to get a complete cockpit. Otherwise, in my opinion, like I said, it's not complete. And again, I go for functionality rather than fashion. And the droid also tends to be missing. It is literally just a socket that slots into the hole here. I'll show you some cool things about that in a second, but I want to show you the rest of the ship. It does have a cool feature. If you see here, there is a... Sorry, I got some dust on this. Button here that if you press, it's got some S-foils that open for exhausting all the extra built-up heat and all that. Some thermal exhausts. Again, you kind of can see where the TIE Fighter gets its overall appearance. Oh, my hand's in the way. But, you know, it's really cool. I actually like it. And the only issue I have, again, another issue that I found is the canopy doesn't stay shut. Or even stay on. So this is just, for me, a display piece. Back to the droid. So if you don't have the socket, I do have some ideas of what you can do to fill in the socket for display appearances if you're into that. I found that the smaller chopper actually fits in there pretty nicely. And it doesn't look that bad. Only issue is, he falls out. So again, display piece only. But like I said, he doesn't look too bad. See? Other things you can fit in there. Unfortunately, the BB-8 doesn't fit in there, but if you get a smaller one, he fits in there. But you can't really see him. You see his antenna, and that's about it. Normal droids do not fit in there. Even droids with removable third legs kind of don't fit in there. Somebody had suggested that if you cut the feet off on some of the other, like the legacy versions, I think, they fit in a little bit better. And it looks really nice. I don't want to do that, so that's why I haven't done that. I actually had to hunt down one of these. I actually hunted down for a second one for my nephew's Actus class, so he can have one too. And last but not least, the Build-A-Droids, while they themselves don't really fit in there, if you remove the legs and the third leg, the core body sorta just fits in there. So you can kind of have a droid in there. I mean, it doesn't look too great, but you have a droid in there, so it's a placeholder. But if you can get your hands on any of these, I suggest you do, because it does kind of look a little bit better than the other ones, except for Chopper. He actually looks really good in there. But, you know, as far as ships go, despite not being able to play with this version, I would still give it a 9 out of 10 for overall appearance and diversity with the droid socket and playability. Overall, though, I would say all three of these ships are pretty good toys to have. If you're a Star Wars fan, I highly recommend getting your hands on at least one of them. All three of them, if possible. And they have different colors for different fighters, different Jedi. I know that like the Anakin is a yellow and gray one with a purple canopy. I have a few of those. I have the purple Mace Windu one. I do have a Kit Fisto one as well. And as I said, my nephew has one of these. He actually has the one that Obi-Wan used, the maroon one. I've seen a few other versions of this, and I know Yoda has a custom Delta one that's highly sought after. I personally am trying to hunt it down myself. I would love to have one, and if I get it, I will do a review on it. But other than that, if you can get them, and if you can find it to make it functional, mix and match, have fun, enjoy them, and enjoy the Star Wars toys. I mean, they're awesome. And if you're an adult, have fun with them. I mean, honestly, you live only once. Enjoy it. Until then, have a great day, and may the Force be with you. Peace out.